Out. Okay. All right. So welcome to our 12 noon section of marketing strategy and planning. We are recording this so the folks at the 1 p.m. class can get the benefits of what is going to happen here. So as we said, Atul, who wrote that fabulous book, Lies, Damn Lies in Marketing. And in the assignment, I asked everyone to give me one question from reading the book. And so already Atul generously responded to some of those. I included those in the D2L and in my announcement that went out yesterday. But there's a bunch that I did not include. But the way we want to run this is, here's your chance. Atul's right there in the far left corner. You can wave Atul so people can see you there. In the far left, that there he goes. So who's got a question for Atul? Because if you don't have one, I'm going to start throwing them out there. Anybody, you could just shout it out, take yourself off mute, put it in the chat. Who's got a question? I knew this was going to happen.
I'll go first. I have a question.
Thanks. All right, Jay.
Atul, you talk about verticals in your book. I'm a little fuzzy on what verticals are. So if you could elaborate and kind of explain what that is and how we can kind of use it to better our marketing skills, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. And I apologize if I didn't make it clear in the book. Verticals are basically industries. So think of it as synonymous with industry. So when you think of automotive, when you think of healthcare, when you think of financial services, when you think of technology, when you think of software, those are verticals. Consumer goods, restaurants, hospitality, those would be verticals.
Okay, awesome. Anyone else have a question? And by the way, one thing I do need to remind us, it would be very beneficial if every one of you would do a review on Amazon for the book. And as an enticement,
thank you.
I am offering 5 bonus points for every review that is posted on Amazon. That is right, 5 bonus points to your
and
next
Thomas,
grade.
I'll match that. I'll give 5 extra points.
Wait a minute, how are you going to give 5 extra points? You getting in my D2L and messing around with stuff? Come on. 5 points is solid.
I'll give.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us your offer and we'll do it. All right. Every one of you there, please review the book on Amazon.
But my offer is the following. Okay, my offer is worth 5 points, which is reach out to me on LinkedIn, and for life, you can follow me and ask questions when you have them. 5 years from now, when you're in your job, you have a question on marketing, reach out to me and remind me of this day, and we'll have a conversation. So you have an open invitation forever.
All right, that is fantastic. So I'll be forwarding to Atul everybody that's in the Lifetime Club of Marketing Advice. All right, who wants to speak next? Anybody? Who wants to go? Who's got a question? Thank you, Jay, for that question to start us off. Who's next? Okay, go. Good. All right, go ahead.
I think my question I wrote was, if you had a choice between doing one plan and focusing all of your energy on that plan, or doing 2 plans and having contingency, would you rather focus all your energy on one plan or kind of detract from your main plan for a just in case?
So one of the things I mentioned in every time I teach a marketing course, in fact, I'm here in Cambridge teaching a course here. I mentioned in my marketing students that most right answers, most good answers in marketing start with "it depends." So I would say the same thing applies over here, Tim. If you are making a plan that is fraught with risk, has high risk, it's a high reward, high risk plan, I would say that within that plan, so in other words, it's not a second plan, within that plan, you should have enough of a discussion, enough of your thought, enough of the planning on what would you do if things go wrong, or if these things go wrong, what's your risk mitigation strategy? So it's not a matter of here's a plan and I have a backup plan. It's if your plan A has a lot of risk, address those risks within that plan. So it's not a matter of creating a second plan, it's a matter of completing your first plan with some risk mitigation ideas.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Who wants to go next? Don't worry if you don't have one. I've got some here. All right. Well, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to throw the first one out. Number of students mentioned this. Why do you think more business schools aren't offering courses dedicated to pricing, Atul? Why isn't there much attention paid to pricing? There's so many books on promotion and all these other things, but nobody writes books about pricing. Why is that?
I honestly don't know what the answer is, but I have some ideas as I can speculate some possible answers. So one is somewhat incorrectly, but partially correctly, people are of the view that pricing has numbers, and I think as a society we've become less data literate. So we tend to shy away from numbers, and pricing is viewed as, oh, it's got too many numbers in there, must be too many numbers, and I'll get confused. And therefore, both from the student side as well as the faculty side. So it's one of those things that it's one of those hidden or dirty secrets that, okay, I cannot find faculty who's comfortable with the numbers, and students themselves are not clamoring for a numerically oriented course. So therefore, let's not offer it because not many people will sign up for it. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Students don't sign up, professors don't volunteer to teach, and life goes on without a pricing course.
But without a doubt, do you feel that is of the 4 Ps, so Atul, what is the most important, do you feel? I mean, certainly in an inflation, pricing probably is number one. What is your feeling?
No, in fact, even without inflation, I teach a pricing course. In fact, I'm a designated professor, designer of the pricing course where I teach at Atul International Business School. Guess what? For the last 2 years, they haven't offered that course. So, I mean, in other words, I'm ready. They know I'm available, but not enough students have showed their interest in doing pricing. So when I teach pricing, or when I even talk about pricing, with numbers, with facts, I can demonstrate that of the 4 Ps, pricing is the most effective P. And what do I mean by that? You can change product, you can change promotion, you can change place, and they all will have an impact on your bottom line and top line. That's what marketing does, right? Marketing is supposed to make a positive difference to the top line and the bottom line. Of the 4 Ps, pricing has the most direct connection to the bottom line. So yes, you can change the product and it'll affect your bottom line, maybe in a positive way, maybe in a negative way. Same thing with pricing, but the direct connection is strongest between pricing and the bottom line compared to the other piece. So if, in other words, if you have a CEO and a CFO who is concerned about their bottom line, they should be the one asking for, let's analyze our price. Maybe there's an opportunity for pricing. And this is inflation or no inflation.
Now, do you see one of the things that I've noticed is marketers are not, we've been kind of left out of the P pricing decisions in corporations, and then place decisions are handled by logistics, and products are handled by. So it's like we're left over with just a P called promotion, doing fancy posters. Or do you see that? Do we have a problem as marketers?
I absolutely do. In fact, there's a chapter in my book, I'm forgetting what chapter it is, where I've sort of make the point that in most companies, pricing is left to the CFO, or like you said, to some supply chain person, not to marketing, which is a big mistake, or to sales, which is also a mistake. So I think marketers need to sort of take back one of the 4 Ps that truly belongs to them. And I think the CEO and the CFO would be happy for it because, like I said, it's got a most direct connection to the bottom line. and CEO and CFOs are, interested in the bottom line.
That leads to this next question. As the students are contemplating working professionally, one student mentioned, how do you fulfill your job's mission? You've got these deadlines, you've got different things you could be doing, so many different tactics, so many options. You got CEOs and CFOs breathing down their neck. Any advice for, keep on keeping on when you're a marketer in that type of an environment?
So I think this would apply to not just marketing, but to almost any function. And frankly, it applies even to life, how you live your life. So if you think of what you do in a day, whether at work or at home, if you think of these as just tasks, I do this, I do that, I did this, I plan to do that. If you think of these as just tasks or just tactics, I think you will go crazy because I'm supposed to do this, and then I'm getting pressure from the sales guy. I'm getting the VP of engineering wants this, the CEO wants that, my own boss wants this. If you view all of them as tasks, then yes, you're being pulled in multiple directions, and most days will be very frustrating. Most days you'll be working overtime, and you'll not feel good at the end of the day. So your job is, and again, like I said, it applies to life as well, is to not think of these as tasks or not to manage them as tasks. I mean, you do have to manage the tasks, but think of them as what are the strategic things that you're working on? And then which task will support that strategy? So in other words, if you have 5 things to work on and it's not very hard for you, and if it is hard, you can get your boss's view as to, out of these 5 things on my plate, what's the priority? And the boss will help you sort of prioritize those. Then work on those and work on the tasks that support those priorities, as opposed to saying, I've got 85 tasks that I'm trying to manage. Those 85 tasks are not of equal value. Then the other piece of advice I'll give you, this actually comes from somebody who's no more, Steve Covey. I actually was fortunate enough to actually listen to him directly, but if you go to YouTube, there are enough videos on this. He talked about things that are urgent and things that are important. And the whole idea is, as far as possible, you should work on things that are important. Of course, there'll be times when, if you have a fire in your next door room, that's urgent. You cannot say, I'm writing a paper for school, that's important. So often urgent will trump important, but your effort in life should be to focus as far as possible on the important. And as required, if urgency comes, if somebody needs help right away, then of course you jump in and help. But your job should be to focus on the important, and that's again speaks to the idea of prioritization.
Without a doubt, Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I think it was called, well worth checking out today, as well as finding a YouTube about important and urgent. That's an outstanding suggestion.
In fact, if you do a YouTube, you can even find a video, and multiple videos actually, where they do an experiment where there's a jar and you're supposed to fill the jar with rocks, pebbles, and sand. And if you fill the jar first with sand and then the pebbles and then try to squeeze in the rocks, the jar is too small to take in all. So the best way to get all of them inside is you first put the big rocks in the jar, then you put in the stones, pebbles, and then you pour in the sand, and everything fits. The metaphor here being that in your life, first put in the big things. First put in things that are the big rocks or the big priorities. And then you put in the little things, and then you put in the sand, and you'll find that in a day, you have time for all. Whereas you start with the sand, you don't have time for the big rocks. And that'll leave you frustrated and may even make your boss unhappy about it.
Definitely check with the boss what's important. You want to work on those things. All right, the next, anybody want to throw out a question? I've got a bunch of them written down here. Anybody? All right, so I'm going to move on to the next one. SEO.
Raise your hand if you have a question so that Tom knows
Yeah, if you
when to
raise
come
your
to you.
hand, all right, I don't see, I don't see any hands. All right. Oh, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
no, yeah, yeah.
Caitlin's got one. All right, Caitlin. You're on mute. You're on mute. This is Caitlin. Are you there? Oh,
Sorry,
there she.
I wasn't sure which Caitlin.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking right at you. Sorry.
Yeah, so my question was just about like the importance of SEO, and if it's something that marketers should put a ton of time in, if it's kind of like tricky to push your website higher in the search results.
Is it effective? Does it work?
That's a very good
SEO.
question, and in some ways it's a controversial topic because a lot of people sell SEO services, and a lot of people spend a lot of money on SEO services. But like you yourself noted, Caitlin, your goal is to rank in the first page of Google, and many companies have 50, 100 competitors. Some even have more. Some even have thousands of competitors. If you're a small business, you have thousands of competitors. So how does everybody rank on the first page? Not everybody can make it to the first page. And usually the big boys make it to the first page. So my perspective is that SEO should be used only when it makes sense. And you might ask, when does it make sense? If you have a reasonable chance of getting to the top, if you have some good inexpensive words which are meaningful, not because those are the criteria is not that they are inexpensive. The criteria is that they are meaningful and they happen to be inexpensive. So if you have those kind of phrases and words and you can afford those, then yeah, SEO will help you. But otherwise, it's for most people, it ends up being a money drain. So
Yeah,
more money is lost in SEO than it benefits people.
And those SEO firms promise the moon and don't deliver it. That's also been my experience. It's getting, they change the algorithm so often.
Yeah.
All right. So here's another one that's similar in the digital space. How do you tell fake users, robots, non-customers? Is there any tips you can offer for that?
That's one of my personal pet peeves. I mean, I'm not an active user of Instagram, but I enjoy watching some videos on Instagram. And I tell you, I get so annoyed when I see something looks very attractive. I want to know where is that, and then I look closely and sort of, no, that's a fake video. So I don't think today there is a good way to do it other than to sort of dig deeper and look closely and things like that. But what I'm hopeful of is that this new buzz that we have with AI, one of the applications of AI could well be, and I'll be very happy to pay for that service. If AI took over Instagram and WhatsApp and sort of started branding, whenever somebody sends me a video on WhatsApp or Instagram, if it put a little seal saying fake, I can still appreciate the art. I can still appreciate the creativity of photoshopping it or creating that video. But at least I know that I shouldn't get too excited about it because it's fake. I should see it as a piece of art as opposed to a piece of real photography of a real event or a real place. So I'm hoping that AI will be put to good use in marking fake from the non-fakes. But today, I think it's left to people like you and me. And in my WhatsApp groups, I take a very strong position when people simply forward stuff as if it's real. So I tell people that if you forward something, forward something that's a joke, that's fine. But if you forward something as a piece of information, I'm going to assume that you have verified it. And if you haven't verified it, I'm going to be very upset. Then why are you forwarding fake information?
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder. Certainly, even on LinkedIn, I'm getting requests to connect with robots. I mean, you know, these people aren't real. There are some ways to get it, but it's just frustrating. Yeah, well, that'd be awesome if AI could have a tool to say this is not. I know they do some the bot Sentinel on Twitter. I think does that, but we could use more help in that. So
In fact, I was reading somewhere. There's a student, I think at Wharton. No, so in other words, in your town, who has developed a counter to Chat GPT. So in other words, you feed some text, and apparently it can tell whether it was generated by a bot or it was human generated. Now, how he's doing it, I don't know, but obviously that's the direction I would sort of hope that AI will also go into, and help us separate fake from the non-fakes.
and here's one. Any suggestions on how you could get something to go viral on social media, or is that just catching lightning in a bottle? It's just a thing of luck.
Yeah, I think there are different ways. You can be. We are talking about fakes, so you can make something, including using fakes. But I'm not encouraging you to do that. Where it's so outrageously good, or unbelievably strong, or unbelievably silly or stupid. So it depends on what you're trying to promote. What is it that you're trying to make viral? Because I think the bigger question as marketers is, what do you hope to achieve, assuming it is viral? So it's one thing to, and I'll give you a sort of another example. You know, we just went through Super Bowl, right? And Super Bowl is famous for its ads, and we all have our own sort of preference. I love that ad, and I didn't like that ad, and all that. Some of the best ads that people remember and had a good laugh about, or thought it was very funny, they cannot even tell you what the product was. So think of it from a marketing standpoint. Did it succeed? Everybody's talking about the ad. It made everybody laugh, but it failed to tell what exactly were you selling. So from a marketing standpoint, it probably failed miserably. So same thing applies to when you think of making something viral. What is it that you're trying to achieve? Is it making it viral in the right audience? I mean, if you are selling a premium product and it becomes viral in a category that cannot afford your product, that to me is a waste. You achieved virality, but as a marketing person, you didn't achieve your goal. So be careful in how you frame your goal in terms of viral status.
That's a good point. As far as what is the outcome of that, such as
Yeah.
The video that went viral on the Shave Club, Dollar Shave Club. I mean, people just, I mean, it was very creative, but it was selling this new model of men's shavers.
That is an example of a good viral
Yep.
video.
Yep. All right. Now,
But there are probably more bad ones than good ones.
certainly a lot more bad ones that don't do anything good for marketers. That's for sure. All right. Now,
Yeah.
you quoted a Drucker about what gets measured gets managed. And what can't be measured isn't worth managing or doing, but some things, specifically attribution, which we all know is we're all under pressure as marketers to attribute this thing that we did brought this many customers, this much money. So it's hard to do that. It's hard to measure attribution. So how do you, when you don't have data, how do you, do these things Drucker says, measuring and managing? You can't get data on everything.
Yeah, so the point I'm making, I'll use the example that I've given in the book, which is about billboards on 101 between San Francisco and San Jose. So the point, I use that example a couple of times in the book. The point is that you cannot measure ROI for that. In other words, Tim Cook has no way of knowing how many iPhones were sold because of the millions of dollars he's spending on those billboards. So there is no ROI for those billboards. But there are other metrics which will explain whether it's a good idea or not. So in other words, here's how I'm assuming the whole thing started. Somebody in marketing at Apple said, 101 is a very busy road. More and more people are driving on it. More and more people are therefore staying on it because of the traffic jam. And we need to build, we need to do some advertising, reaching out to them using billboards. Okay. And whoever was at the top at that time, whether it was Steve Jobs or Phil Schiller or whoever, they probably smart enough not to insist on an ROI, because there is no way you can get an ROI. But they were also probably smart enough to sort of say, let's look at the metrics. Since you are making the case as a marketing person, you're making the case that the traffic is getting busier, more and more people are spending more and more time on the highway, then you do have numbers for that. You can get numbers, how many cars are driving every day. You are also getting data, how many cars or what is the average speed of those cars? In other words, how much time are they spending on that road? So you can track that and sort of say that my original thesis, my original premise, that more and more people are on that road and more people are spending more time on it. Is that still true? Is that still increasing? Should I continue to fund the billboards on Route 101? And if so, in other words, you do have numbers, you just don't have ROI. You do have numbers that you can use to support your case that yes, my original thesis is valid and it's getting stronger and stronger.
And they also have them on I-95 in Philadelphia. They got them on I-76. So they're got, and these are the busiest roads. I know that road you speak of in California. It is, everybody has to, and I bet there's a lot of cars that are stuck there in traffic looking up at that billboard. The other thing.
Let me make another point.
Go ahead.
Even though that's not part of the question, but I think it's, as marketers, I think it's an important lesson to learn. So from my point of view, and again, I don't know what they're doing on 76 and 95, but most billboards on 101 are focused on iPhones, not on MacBooks, not on iPads, not on anything else. So when I thought about it as to why are they, first of all, iPhone is a big part of their business. All right. But heck, still, MacBooks are important too, iPads are important too, and watches are important. So why are they almost, with no exception, 100% focused on the iPhone? And my reasoning was the following. So when it comes to advertising, let's say that I'm a Starbucks fan, okay, and Starbucks advertises. So as a Starbucks fan, I actually, from a marketing standpoint, any advertising that they do to me is actually a waste. Why? Because I'm already a loyal Starbucks customer. What Starbucks is trying to do is reach customers that they don't have. If you reach customers that you do have, generally in marketing, we say that's a wasted, but you cannot control that, right? If I put an ad on TV, you cannot say, show it only to people who are not my customers. You show it to everybody. Now, same thing applies to the billboards. So there are people who are stuck in the traffic. They either have iPhones or they don't have iPhones. Now, if you look at those ads in Bay Area, even the iPhone ads, they're not really talking about here's iPhone 14 Pro and it comes in 5 colors and this and that. They use shot on iPhone. That's
same in ours.
Shot on iPhone. So my reasoning is the following. When you see a shot on iPhone, even if I'm an iPhone user, I'm stuck over there. So I say, wow, that's a nice picture. I didn't know that I can take that picture with my iPhone. Next time I'm going to try that. So what is it doing? It's building stronger loyalty. Even though I'm already an iPhone customer, it's making my relationship with my phone stronger, which in the long run is of value to Apple. If I'm not an iPhone customer, if I got a Samsung or something else, then I say, oh, I didn't know you can take, I'm jealous. I should be able to, maybe next time I'll upgrade to an iPhone because I can take better pictures with an iPhone. So what I'm saying is that not a single eyeball impression is wasted because they are reaching iPhone users and they're using non-iPhone users. And it has a positive effect because they are using customers' pictures because it's making me feel, because if they showed me 5 different colors of an iPhone and I'm already an iPhone user, it's of no value. I already have my iPhone. I don't care. I already made my choice. I'm happy with it. So that's a wasted billboard. But when I see shot on iPhone, I am interested. Even though I have an iPhone, I am interested. So I think it's a very smart use of space, even though it costs them a few million dollars. It's very good marketing.
I agree. That was an excellent observation. Those same ads are all about iPhones being, photos shot on iPhones. Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
So this one. This is a big one. All these students are going to be starting out as marketing practitioners. Best advice you could share with them to get a leg up on a successful career?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you join any career with enthusiasm, I think that's the best thing you can do. So if you take on a marketing job with enthusiasm, with curiosity, with willingness to learn, I think you already have a leg up. When you start out, you'd probably not be doing everything in marketing. Marketing, as you know, is a pretty broad field. So you'll be given responsibility for Facebook ads or SEO or website management or creating content or managing this, or it might be very narrow, but that's okay. That's how it starts out. But be curious, keep your eyes wide open. Always try to link what you are doing. It may be a very trivial thing. You might feel that you're just a sort of a cog in the wheel, but keep in mind what impact does it have or not have on the big picture. That's what your boss is going to appreciate. So if you are able to link what you are doing, even though it's a very minor thing, if you can link that with sort of the business objectives of the business, I think you are in good position.
Now, any advice on how to have a good relationship with your manager and then your CEO? Any thoughts on those? Maybe they are.
Yeah,
both.
I think if you are able to link your tasks, your responsibility with the bigger picture, that is probably the best advice I can give you in terms of scoring points with the boss, scoring points with the CEO. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, the CEO is not interested in how many people visited the website. If you were able to increase that, at the end of the day, CEO is interested in, did I sell more? Did I grow my company? So if you can link the growth of visitors to the website with growth in the company, first of all, it'll allow you to do the right things, and then it'll also make the CEO happy because you are able to present it in a language that the CEO wants to is monitoring himself or herself.
So we want to speak in the things that they care about: more sales, more profits. All right.
Yeah.
Now, let me see here. All right, this question was asked before we got into segmentation, targeting, and positioning. But any tips on finding ideal customers for your product, or a process to find those right customers for your product?
I think segmentation is the right starting point, and you have to make sure that you segment the market correctly. Choose the segments that are most aligned with what your product offers, who would be most interested in it. And if it's a new product, it's always good to start with customers who are going to be excited about this, people who are more on the innovation curve of the product life cycle, as opposed to people who are looking for tried and tested, who may be better customers for the growth stage.
All right. Well, that is my list of questions that I got from the students' papers, but there might be others. So in these final, one last question or two last questions before we say, wrap this thing up. Anybody have anything that we didn't cover yet? I did try to get them all covered up, and we do also have the Atul answered a number of them, and it's in our D2L, so you could read that as well. Anybody want to add one more question before I close this up? All right, well then let's first of all mention again, it's in your D2L. I sent it out in the announcements. Tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. SGA meeting. Get your questions in. The scans are in the D2L. I also want to remind you, buy a cheesesteak from Lorenzo's and mention the WCU Wrestling Club sent you, because we've got to raise about $5,000 to send all 10 qualifiers to the Nationals in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So if you buy a cheesesteak from Lorenzo's on Market, 213 Market, oh man, just say the wrestling club sent me. It's the best cheesesteak in town. You get the talk of the town. That's Cooper Sharp fried onions. Oh boy, that's good. And last but not least, the 5 extra bonus points to your grades. You're going to write an Amazon review about lies, damn lies in marketing. And then you're going to take a picture of it and send it to me. And I'm going to give you 5 points on anything you need a 5-point boost. Although I will say, very happy with the grades I saw on that quiz. Oh yeah, I got smarter students this semester than I had last semester. Just from that first test, I love it. They sent me the smart ones. Thank God, it had nothing to do with me. It's all about my kids, and I know that. So that's all I have. Anybody want to say anything? I say, as we go out of here, everybody thank Atul. Atul, any final words before we say goodbye?
So I just want to say thank you, Thomas, for inviting me. I enjoyed it last time, and we did it again here. So I love to spend time with students. Like I said, I'm here teaching my own set of students here. So
All right, now there's a bunch of you without cameras on. If you could just for this picture take your camera off. I want to take one picture here because I like to put this up, and we're going to give the thumbs up. We're going to give the famous thumbs up. Thank you, special speaker Atul. 1, 2, 3, thumbs up. Thank you, everybody. I want to get this picture I want to get this. Hold on a second. Hold on. There we go. All right, I want to get this on the LinkedIn, and it's going to be my LinkedIn shot. Thumbs up. Nice. Okay, fantastic. It'll be up there on LinkedIn as a thank you. So appreciate everybody attending and listening in. Atul, again, thank you so much for doing this.
thank you, Thomas. I really appreciate it.
All right,
And,
we'll see.
again, reach out on LinkedIn. Very happy to connect and stay connected with you all.
Remember that you got the lifetime warrant guarantee there. You need any help the rest of your career, take advantage of that because Atul's one sharp dude, and you know that. You read that book. All right, we'll see you Wednesday. We'll do the next quarter. I haven't had a chance to see who's in first place, but I will pass that around once I do. All right, everybody, have a good rest of the day. Thank you and take care. See you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.